In the dead of night deep in the forest, Dian gets lost and unexpectedly runs into a pack of ruthless hunters. Smirking wickedly, they plan to force themselves on the defenseless girl. A piercing scream rings out in despair. The panicked girl fights back, but she's far too weak against these hungry wolves. Just in the nick of time, Lo-Ho steps out of the shadows with a cold glare, the dark barrel of his gun aimed straight at the scumbag's head. Without a word, he charges in and beats the living daylights out of the thugs. His powerful punches rain down, leaving them screaming in agony. Lo-Ho roars in anger, fiercely declaring that anyone who dares to touch his woman is asking for a death wish. The goons bow their heads begging for mercy, crying and making excuses that they didn't know the girl belonged to the notorious boss. A simple apology isn't going to cut it. Lo-Ho coldly confiscates all the wild game they just hunted as compensation for emotional distress. Not stopping there, the badass husband also strips them of their hunting rifles, cutting off their livelihood as a warning for their arrogance. Turning to look at Dian, Lo-Ho angrily scolds her for daring to sneakily follow him into the dangerous forest late at night. The clumsy girl stubbornly talks back, only to be tossed hard onto the ground, leaving her aching. That's what she gets for being hard-headed and not listening. Seeing her wincing from the pain in her hips, he sighs helplessly, reaches out to pull her up, and piggybacks her all the way home to safety. The next morning, Lo-Ho takes the wild goat he caught to town to meet wealthy businesswoman Vu Chiumai and discuss a major deal. He plays his cards, revealing he just found a whole herd of fat goats in the mountains, and asks if she has the capital to swallow the entire batch. Hearing this, Vu Chiumai's eyes light up. She immediately locks at a sky-high price of $280 a head, and makes sure to hand over the deposit on the spot. With cash burning a hole in his pocket, he drops by the department store and snags 2 pretty floral dresses and an expensive watch to bring home. Upon getting home, the man rolls up his sleeves and shows off his cooking skills in the kitchen. The mouth-watering aroma has Dian and her sister gulping down their drool. Feeling good after a hearty meal, Lo-Ho excitedly pulls out the 2 dresses, telling his wife and sister to go wash up and try them on for him to see. The 2 beauties step out of the room, their curves peeking through the fabric. Lo-Ho completely freezes for a few seconds because they look incredibly stunning. The smooth-talking guy showers them with praise, saying the dresses perfectly show off their deadly charm. However, his wife Dian blushes bright red, complaining that the material is way too thin and revealing. It feels like she's wearing nothing at all, making her totally embarrassed. Her husband chuckles and coaxes her, saying if you've got it, flaunt it. Since she looks so gorgeous, she can just wear it around the house for his eyes only. The mood suddenly turns intimate. Lo-Ho steps closer to his wife, his eyes burning with temptation. Right at the climax, a third wheel ruins the moment. Dian innocently pushes the door open and walks in, making them both jump. After smoothly shooing the third wheel away, the husband holds his wife's hand tight, breathing a sigh of relief that they finally have some privacy. He suddenly pulls a secret gift out of his pocket and carefully slips it onto her wrist. Looking at the sparkling watch on her wrist, Dian gets teary-eyed, deeply moved by how much her husband spoils her. Sniffling, she says that if her late parents in heaven knew how well he treats her, they would definitely smile in satisfaction. Lo-Ho pulls his wife into a comforting hug, boldly declaring that the era of reform and opening up is coming, and the fate of poor farming families is about to turn a new page. He promises a bright future where people are free to get rich, and their family will rise from the mud to become wealthy tycoons. But a storm is brewing again. Dian rushes in frantically with bad news, saying the vicious team captain is bringing men to arrest Lo-Ho. The jealous captain, using the excuse that Lo-Ho neglected his farm work to smuggle goods, wants to make him a scapegoat to intimidate the villagers. Even though his wife pleads with him to run and hide, Lo-Ho stays completely unfazed, sitting majestically in the middle of the house waiting for those goons to show their faces. He knows full well that running away will only make things worse. Besides, leaving his weak wife and young sister behind to take the fall would strip him of his manhood. The front door gets kicked open. Quach Ton leads his gang of fierce-looking thugs inside, aggressively demanding to handcuff Lo-Ho and parade him through the streets in disgrace. Dian spreads her arms to shield her husband, loudly exposing the captain's corrupt true colors and insisting that Lo-Ho had to take time off because he was severely ill. Quach Ton gets pissed off, throwing his weight around and ordering his lackeys to tie Lo-Ho up immediately so he can be dragged to the commune committee for disciplinary action. But Lo-Ho isn't someone to mess with. He grabs a weapon, his eyes glaring daggers, and warns that if anyone dares to take a single step forward, they shouldn't blame his fists for showing no mercy. Turning pale with fear from his murderous aura, the cowardly captain backs off, yelling at his men to go beg the local militia to bring guns for backup. Seeing that didn't work, they resort to blatant looting, ransacking the house and leaving the whole family absolutely furious at these thugs posing as officials. His patience has officially reached its limit. Lo-Ho cracks his knuckles, growling a vow to give these dirty officials a beating they'll never forget. An unavoidable life or death battle is about to break out. Where will the fate of this family lead?